Now, some of you are saying, well, a light load on the arm, is that really strength training? Well, have a look at this next few slides to try and understand it better. As soon as we put load on the arm, we've increased the mass, which has increased the inertia. That is the resistance to change in motion. That is, the arm is heavier, therefore it's got greater inertia. Therefore, it's going to require greater muscular work to get it going. Okay, if it's requiring greater muscular work, that is a proxy of work over time is power, and it's also a force. It requires greater forces to get it going. So yes, load in the arm is a form of strength training. What we've got to be really aware of, though, is this concept of rotational inertia. You can see the formula down the bottom here. It is I equals mr squared. So the rotational inertia is still a function of mass, but it's a function of how far the mass is away from the axis of rotation. In this example, the axis of rotation is going to be the shoulder joint. So here's a 100-gram load very close to the shoulder joint. And so it's rotational inertia. Its resistance to angular motion is 2.1%. As soon as we move this load down to mid-arm, we see it's around about 4% increase in rotational inertia. And then down to distal, we see it's 6.5%. Same load, moved down the arm, has increased the rotational inertia and therefore the muscular effort to get it going by 6.5%. So that's quite a substantial overload with a very light weight. And as soon as we start moving these light weights very quickly, we start asking the muscles to work very, very hard. The other thing that you will notice with the wearable resistance systems is the shape of the loading. We can see that there's a fat end or a end where there's a lot of mass, and that's the head or the belly, and we see there's a lighter end. That's called the tail. You can see here in this diagram that we've loaded 400 grams with the heavy ends internally placed. And over here, we see them laterally placed. So these two loading patterns will modify the technique. One will cause a little bit of internal rotation. One will cause a little bit of external rotation. Now, so for the coaches out there that are listening to this, we can use wearable resistance, not only to overload and strengthen the stroke or the arm involvement in the stroke, but also we can use it to modify technique. So that's a pretty cool application of it. Not only a strength tool, but a technique tool. What else can wearable resistance provide? Well, it provides movement variability. We can see in this example here on the diagram that there will be different antagonists, agonists, activation, the synergists most probably are working a little bit differently. So that's quite good for conditioning. Also, because we're strengthening the arm or the motion while you're playing golf, there's most probably greater injury resistance given the sport-specific, stroke-specific strength adaptation. Finally, you might have asymmetries or single leg imbalances, or you have athletes that are returning to play or returning to golf. Then you can use wearable resistance to address those imbalances and asymmetries.